6.1 Notes Laws of Exponents. Now we're going to learn the next law of exponents, and this one is called the product of powers property. And what this means is, what do we do with exponents when we multiply? So, in order to multiply powers with the same base, we multiply coefficients and we add the exponents. Okay, so what that means, first of all, let's review what these vocab words mean. Coefficients are the numbers that are in front of the variables. So the coefficients in the example below would be 3 and 4. Okay, and then to add the exponents are the little numbers raised above the variable, and so the exponents would be this 3 and 6. Okay, so what this means, it says 3x cubed times 4x to the 6th power, and really what this is saying is 3 times 4, because we're multiplying the coefficients, and then adding all the exponents, which there's 3 x's in, with the first x and then 6 x's with the second, and so we would have 9 x's. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're all being multiplied. Okay, so really what this looks like is 3 times 4, which would be 12, and then x to the 3 plus 6, and 3 plus 6 is 9. So your final answer would be 12x to the 9th power. Alright, now let's practice. It says to simplify the expression and write your answer using only positive exponents. Alright, so number 15 says x to the 4th times x to the 7th. Well, we're multiplying here with exponents, and our multiplication rule, or product of powers property, says to multiply the coefficients and add the exponents. Okay, so the coefficients here, when you don't see a number in front of the variable, remember it's an understood 1. So when we multiply the coefficients, the 1 times the 1, we still get 1. Okay, now it's the same base, but now, like we said, we multiply the coefficients and we add the exponents. So our exponents here are 4 and 7, so it becomes x to the 4 plus 7, and when we simplify that, we get x to the 11th power, because 4 plus 7 is 11. And I didn't write the 1 because remember the 1 is understood. So your final answer would be x to the 11th. Now skip down to number 21. Number 21 says 4x squared y cubed times 6x to the 12th y. So again, we're multiplying with exponents. Remember, we multiply the coefficient and we add the exponents. So identify your coefficients, which are 4 and 6. Okay, so 4 times 6 is 24. Now, to add the exponents, I can't combine the x and the y and the x and the y, so the x squared, the y cubed, the x12, and the y. I can only combine like bases, just like you can only combine like terms. So, I'm going to combine the x squared with the x to the 12th. And remember, we do that by adding the exponents. Okay, and now let's add the y's. So we have y cubed, so it's going to be y to the 3 plus, what is our exponent of this other y? Well, just like coefficients, if you don't see the exponent or you don't see the coefficient, it's an understood 1. So 3 plus 1. Alright, so let's simplify. We still have 24 and then x to the 2 plus 12, which is 14, and then y to the 3 plus 1, which is y to the 4th. So our final answer would be 24x to the 14th, y to the 4th. Now I want you to try number 16 through 20 and number 22 on your own. And if you get stuck, you can raise your hand and ask for help since you'll be doing this one in class with me. All right, we're going to learn one more exponent law today, and that is the quotient of powers property. So the one you just learned is what do we do when we multiply, and now we're going to learn what we do when we divide. So this time, instead of multiplying the coefficients and adding the exponents, now what we're doing is we're going to divide the coefficients and subtract the exponents. And again, that is what we do when we divide powers. And remember, it also must be powers that have the same base. Okay, so let's do an example. What it looks like, we have 12x cubed divided by 2x squared. Okay, so what does it mean? Well, what it means is we have the coefficients that we divide, so 12 divided by 2. So remember, the numbers in front of the variables, those are your coefficients. Okay, and then we have 3 x's on top and 2 on bottom, because we have x cubed and then x squared. Okay, well, we have one of the same thing on top and on bottom, so we can cancel those out. We have another x on top, another x on bottom, so we can cancel those out. So we're left with only one x. But to show you a simpler rule, instead of having to write out x's all the time, because it'll be inconvenient if you have x to the 150th power, you'd be writing out 150 x's. So that's really not the best way to go about it. So what we do is we still divide our coefficients like we did here, and then we subtract our exponents. So 12 divided by 2 is 6, and then we have x to the 3 minus 2. And when we simplify that, we get 6 to times x to the first power. And really, we can just write it as 6x, because we don't have to write that 1 because it is, this one is understood. Alright, so now we're going to practice by completing numbers 23 through 29. And the instructions say here to simplify the expression and to write your answer using only positive exponents. So in other words, if you have a negative exponent, make sure you use that negative exponent law in order to simplify it. I'm going to do number 25 with you, and then you're going to do number 23, 24, and 26 through 29 on your own. And again, if you have questions, since you'll be doing this in class, you can raise your hand and ask for my help. So on number 25, it says 6x cubed divided by 9x to the 5th. So our rule when we are dividing powers is that we divide the coefficients and we subtract the exponents. Okay, remember, coefficients are the numbers in front of the variables. So we have 6 divided by 9, and then we have the same base of x, and then we must subtract the exponents because we are dividing. Okay, so let's simplify. 6 divided by 9 reduces down to 1/3, and then we have x to the 3 minus 5. Well, 3 minus 5 leaves us with a negative 2. But pay attention to your instructions because it told us to write our answer using only positive exponents. Positive. This is not positive. So we must use our negative exponent rule, which means we cross the line, we change the sign. So the x to the negative 2 is on top of the line, so now we've got to bring it below the line and change the sign. So if it's a negative 2, we change it to a positive 2. So our final answer is 1 over 3x squared for number 25. All right, now you try numbers 23 and 24, and then 26 through 29. Once you have completed those problems, I want you to attempt number 30. At least try to set it up and have something written down to where you could make an estimated, your best educated guess, and at least be able to circle something. But try to set something up for number 30.